Okay, let's start. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manojavam Marutatuल्य Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayutha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmaja Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Hare Krishna, welcome back to our weekly Ramayana discussions. I'm so happy you could come, you could join. We are about a week away from Sri Ramanavami. So we are going to begin with chapter 11 and go into chapter 12 of Kishkinda Kanda. Chapter 11 begins with Sugriva being very inspired and energized by Sri Ramachandra's words that don't worry Sugriva, I have very powerful arrows and a very powerful bow with me and I can take care of Bali. So in this inspiration, Sugriva wants to narrate what Vali's strength looks like. Because Vali is very, very strong and a very brave monkey. He's the king of the Vanaras. So that Ramachandra has a good assessment of who he is up against. When we're going into any competition, it's always good to know the opponents or the rivals' strengths and weaknesses. If you don't have a good assessment of the opponent, then we may be caught by surprise. So it's always good to know how the rival thinks and how they behave. So this is true in a war, this is true in any competition. Get a good assessment of who we are up against. So Sugriva begins by narrating the story of Dundubhi. Now previously, he told about how Vali and Mayavi, who was the younger brother of Dundubi, got into a strife because of a female. They fought over a female. Here, Dundubi, this happened before. So what happened with is that Dundubi was this fierce demon. And we'll be introduced to Dundubi's characteristics soon. Sugriva says that Vali was such a powerful monkey, not just strength, but such agility that he would wake up every day before the crack of dawn. So he would wake up at Brahma Muhurta time. That is 1.5 hours before sunrise. And every day, 3 times a day, would perform his Gayatri meditation. Sandhya Vandanam is called. And the way he would do this is very unique. Now, the fact that Vali would perform Sandhya Vandana shows that Vali comes from a very good lineage and a very cultured line. Of course, he is the son of Indra. It's just that he was a son of Indra, but at home, obviously, he was given good culture. Unfortunately, used it badly. So this is what Vali would do. He would wake up. He would go towards the east, and not just go like walk. He would jump from Kishkindha to the Eastern Ocean and take a bath in the Eastern Ocean. Then he would jump from that ocean to the Southern Ocean, the Indian Ocean. And there he would perform Achaman. Actually, these are all things we do one after the other, but he would go to different oceans. So he would go to Southern Ocean, do Achaman. From there, he would spring and go to the Western Ocean and offer water, called Tarpana, to the sun. You see in India, people stand in the Ganges and offer palmfuls of Ganges water to the sun or to the Ganges itself. So from the Western Ocean, then he would jump all the way to the Himalayas and sit there and meditate on his Gayatri, finish that and jump back to Kishkinda. This is daily routine, 3 times a day. That powerful. And when he would finish all his meditation and come back, then like any one of us, some people go to the gym, some people go for a walk, bicycling, whatever, some exercise. Vali would break huge mountain peaks and throw those mountain peaks in the air and then catch them when they would come down, as if he was playing with some ball. That was his exercise, just for fun. He would throw mountain peaks here and there, then run and catch them, and then throw them high in the air, catch them again. Then, to show off his strength to other people, he would go and find different species of trees, because they're living in a forested area. There were many, many fascinating trees, some very huge, some very big, strong trees. He would hold the tree trunk and very strongly shake those trees. And when he would shake those trees, every leaf in the tree would fall. And the tree would literally become leafless or naked, if you will. So something to note is, we've all seen pictures of cyclones or hurricanes. When hurricanes and cyclones hit trees, you see one phenomenon happen. The branches of the trees may break off. The tree itself may get uprooted, but leaves that are green cannot be separated from their branches. Now, some leaves may fall off, but the entire tree to become completely leafless is not possible, because a leaf that is green holds on to the branch very, very strongly. And once the leaf is dry, it goes away. So what a hurricane and cyclone cannot do to a tree, Vali would just shake the branch of the tree. And I'm saying like this as if the trunk is small, the trunk could be this big. So how strong must Vali be? So one day, Dundubi, he came and he wanted to challenge. His pleasure was in challenging great persons for a fight. Like we hear in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, instead of Dundubi, it was other scholars who would want to do intellectual wrangling. They would challenge other scholars to debate. They would smash them in the debate and feel fantastic. Ah, I debated with such a scholar. I got my title, Digvijay. So Sugriva says that once Dundubi came to Kishkinda. Dundubi was in the form of a buffalo, Mahisha. One of the names of Durga Devi is Mahishasura Mardini. Mahishasura is the demon who is in the form of a buffalo. So Sugriva describes that buffaloes generally are very dull, they're not intelligent animals, extremely thick-skinned and powerful, strong like anything. And his body was massive like Mount Kailash. And he had the strength of 1,000 elephants. Now here, Sugriva says that Dundubi had a blessing from somebody from which he became so strong. Now, I don't know from who, but this is what Sugriva is narrating. So as strong as Dundubi was, he was equally vain and arrogant. This is one of the problems when someone has an asset, be it money, be it Janma Aishwarya Shutashri, a great lineage, great knowledge, great opulence, which includes strength, or beauty. If their heart is not settled on dharma, if it is not pure, then that asset makes them extremely proud and arrogant. So Dundubi was like that. This sense of vanity comes from having a very weak or no character. And the way they express their gift, if you will, or their asset, is through arrogance and cruelty. They want to show superiority over others. And with this vanity, Dundubi approached Samudradev. Now, oceans are very, very indomitable. However expert a swimmer is, they cannot swim across an ocean. So Dundubi came and loudly called Samudradev and said, I want to fight with you. Come on, show me your strength. He mocked at Samudradev. So Samudradev came forward and said, Dundubi, I am no match for you, but I know who can be. Instead of being here, why don't you go up north to Mount Himavan? Now, Himavan is the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. He's the shelter for all the sages, and he possesses great forests, caves, gardens, springs, and waterfalls. And his strength is indomitable. I mean, how can he become Lord Shiva's father-in-law unless he himself is a very strong person? And you know the Himalayas, they block the massive clouds and give the entire Indian subcontinent or Bharatavarsha rains and thousands of gallons of rains. So Himavan would be a good match for you. You should go there. And Dundubi did not even wait. Now buffaloes don't walk too fast, except sometimes they will run with a lot of power, but they're not very fast animals. But Dundubi bolted like an arrow and went north. And then he stood in front, he went to the Himalayas, and as a way to challenge Himavan, he started breaking off mountaintops and throwing them here and there and causing a mess in the Himalayas just to get Himavan's attention. So Himavan appeared, but stayed far away from Dundubi and said, Dundubi, I know you want to fight with me, but I am just a gentle being. And what do? I just give shelter to sages. Sages are people who don't drink or eat much. They're just sitting in one place meditating. I'm not the good match for you. I don't think I can offer you a fight. Hey, but if you want to fight, I have an idea. Dundubi's eyes became red with anger. He said, I don't care if you're incapable to fight me. Perhaps you're scared of me, but I want to know who is there that can give me a good fight. My body, my muscles are itching to fight with someone. So Himavan said, hey, go to Kishkinda. And in Kishkinda, there is Vali. And Himavan glorified Vali's strength. Now, when Dundubi is standing in front of him and he is glorifying Vali's strength, guess what happens to Dundubi? He becomes very, very angry. How dare you glorify some other? You're glorifying my opponent as if I am any less. I will smash this Vali right now. And Dundubi came to Kishkindha. Massive, massive body, like a buffalo, dark. And he entered Kishkinda. And by his entering Kishkinda and thumping his hooves, the entire earth shook. So Sugriva is telling Ramachandra, Dharayan Mahishan Rupan, by putting on a buffalo's form, Tikshna Shringha Bhayavaha, he had very sharp horns, Tikshna Shringha Bhayavaha, and caused fear. Anyone who saw was scared of him because he had massive figure, big, strong, red eyes. Pravrishiva Mahameghasto Mahamegha Toya Purna Nabhastale. He entered Kishkindha like in the monsoon. The sky is filled with a heavy, black, fresh rain cloud. It can cover the entire sky. It can be scary. That is how he came, just as a cloud covers the sky. And Tatastu Dwaram Agamya, he came to Vali's palace doors. And he says, Nanarda Kampayan Bhumam. And by his loud bellowing, the entire earth was shaking. Dundubir Yatha. And Dundubi's voice was so deep, like that of the beating of kettle drums. You know, in movies we see the entry of some demons, or when messages have to be sent across mountains, they have these huge drums and one guy will beat on them, dum, dum, to give some warning of a message. That was Dundubi. So Dundubi also means a kettle drum. So Dundubir Yatha. His voice was like that of a kettle drum. So this Dundubi came and he started destroying all the trees that were around Vali's palace and area. With his hooves, he was digging the ground like this. And the gate of Vali's palace, he went and goaded the gate with his horns, just as an elephant would break sugarcane stalk. Elephants use their forehead and trunk to just crash large trees. So he went and completely destroyed Vali's gate. And Vali, who is a very irritable fellow, he was actually with a whole bunch of female Vanaris, enjoying like anything. And the verse Valmiki says is, like the moon enjoys with the stars. So we have 27 constellations. We call them nakshatras. And these nakshatras are always roaming around the moon. So Vali was like that. He was the moon and there were so many taras, stars. So Vali, in the middle of his enjoyment with his female companions, got irritated. Hey, kaun hai yaar? Nonsense. What is this? And he jumped out and came to his balcony and he saw Dundubi making such a mess. So Vali said, Dundubi, why are you making so much noise and disturbance? Why are you making such an irritation here? Go away. Save your life. Go away from here. Which is a warning that if you irritate me more, I will kill you. When Dundubi heard Vali speak like that, Dundubi's eyes turned red. And Dundubi challenged me, said, oh, king of the monkeys. You think you're such a big hero. Obviously, you'll speak like that because you're surrounded by with all your female monkeys. So when you're with women, it's easy to boast because then the women will be like, what a hero we are with. If you're a real monkey, so I should have said mard hai to, but you're a real monkey, then you come here and show me your strength in a fight. Then I will accept. And Dundubi taunted Vali. He said, oh, monkey, tonight I will somehow restrain my anger and be patient because you are busy in sensual pleasures. Maybe this is not the right time. You may be weak. I'll wait till the morning when you have gained enough strength to come and fight with me. Okay? And as far as right now, just give all those females a big hug, spend the night with them, enjoy, because guess what? Tomorrow morning, Kishkindha will be without a king. Just enjoy and find somebody to nominate as your replacement, because tomorrow I will destroy your arrogance, I will destroy you, I'll just finish you. Because after all, when a person is drunk, you don't fight with them. Or when a person is asleep, so he gives Niti Shastra when one should fight and one should not fight. So he says, Yohi mattan pramattan va suptan va rahitam bhrisham. So when a person is drunk or helpless or asleep or without weapons or so enamored, wallowing in a lustful condition, at that time, one who kills such an opponent is equal to one who performs infanticide, one who kills a womb, a child, an embryo in the womb. Anyasta brunaha loke twadidaham mada mohitam. So Vali, I mean, you say anything to Vali, but you don't diminish Vali's strength. So Vali got so upset. He looked at Tara and all the other females and told them, go away. I don't want to be with you. And very angrily told the demon, and with a smile, with his anger, but with a smile, Dundubi, don't think I'm drunk. This drink is like a warrior's drink. It's an elixir that makes me strong. If you're ready, I'm ready. And Vali removed that golden garland that was given by Indra. So this is the reference. Sometimes people ask, where does it say Vali had a necklace given by Indra? So he removed that. The verse, if you want, I will read the verse for you. Tam evam ukta sankruddho, having spoken in anger, malam utshipya kanchanim, the golden mala that he was wearing, that he removed. Pitra dattan mahendrena, his father Indra had gifted it to him. Yuddhaya vyavastitha. And Vali became ready for a combat. Then Vali, although a monkey, was as strong as fantastic elephants, came and grabbed Dundubi by his horns and struck him on his head and loudly roaring. Then he picked Dundubi, whirled him around. Do you remember how Krishna and Balaram killed Dhenukasura? Something similar. Whirled him around and threw him far away. Dundubi, because of that centrifugal force, his ears started bleeding because Vali had whirled him so strongly. But he wouldn't take no for an answer. So he came charging back at Vali and both of them fought like anything. But Vali, who's actually as strong as Indra, started punching Dundubi, kicked him with his knees, threw rocks, trees, branches, whatever he could. Now, rocks are not just like pebbles, massive boulders, and tried to crush him. And they fought like anything. and neither of them was feeling any tired. Now, after a long time of fighting like this, Dundubi started becoming weaker and Vali started becoming stronger. And finally, Dundubi fell down completely. His strength, his courage, his arrogance, everything diminished. And he died. Vali picked that huge, massive, gigantic buffalo body and threw it away. Oh, before he threw it, he smashed Dundubi's body to the ground, picked him, and threw that blood-laden body away. And just by his throwing, the body flew 1 yojana, 8 miles away. Now, while it was being flung in the air, 1 mile, 8 miles away, there were drips of blood that were falling on the ground. And Vali, in the night, in his arrogance, threw it without consideration in what direction he was throwing. But that direction was where sage Matanga had his ashram, and sage Matanga was sitting in his meditation. And as Dundubi's body was flying right over his head and crashed to the ground, blood dropped on Matanga Rishi and also made his ashrama dirty with the blood of a demon. So Matanga Rishi said, who is this? What's going on here? Why is this garden that I have cultivated very nicely for all the sages to perform their meditation? What is going on? Why is it being desecrated like this with blood? He came out of his ashram and he saw this massive body of Dundubi buffalo on the ground, dead. Then Matanga Rishi, for a moment, closed his eyes and with his divine power, figured out who had committed this very bad act. It was Vali. And so Matanga Rishi pronounced a curse. He says, whoever has done this act of defiling this garden, I mean, it's not he's attached to a garden. That is where his Yagya Sthali is, where his altar is. And that's where he performs Yagya. So he says, whoever has desecrated is forbidden to enter this entire area. If he enters this place, he will die immediately. And whoever has broken all these trees and wonderful foliage here by throwing this demon's body, not only will he die if he enters this particular area, if he enters anywhere in the radius of 1 yojana around this, so 8 miles radius from here, they will immediately die. And I'm saying all of his followers, the monkeys that are here, if they are friendly to him, because Vali had spies and friends living here, he said, I give all of them exactly 1 day to get out of this place safely. After 24 hours, curfew starts. If they come here, they will die. If any of the monkeys come back even to eat any fruit or set their foot in here, they will invoke my curse on them. I give them 1 day, get out of here. So all the monkeys ran away because they were scared of sage Matanga and his curse. So then when they ran to Vali, Vali was surprised, like, hey, why are you all here? You all used to stay in the groves of Matanga Rishi. I hope everything is okay. Why are you here? Then the monkeys narrated to him, oh, hold on a second. The sage came to know what you have done to Dundubi. And this is what happened. And the monkeys are narrating this. And in that verse, Valmiki tells us that Vali was wearing this golden necklace given by Indra again. Valine, Hema Maline. Hema Malini, actress Hema Malini, who's coming to Naperville, I believe. This Hema Malini is the golden necklace that he's wearing. So when Vali heard this, he immediately dropped everything, folded his hands, and ran to meet sage Matanga. Then he went to Matanga sage, fell at his feet, and said, I'm very sorry. I'm actually very scared of the curse that you have given. But the sage said, curse once spoken is a curse once spoken. You can roam around anywhere, just in 8-mile radius of Rishamukha mountain. You cannot come. So Sugriva said, Rama, this Vali, because of this reason, he never enters this place. And because he doesn't enter this area, I am living without any fear, knowing that Vali cannot enter. Otherwise, if I leave this place, I don't have a visa. If I leave, my passport will not be stamped. In fact, Vali will stamp me. So I am staying here only. So come, I want to show you. And Sugriva shows Ramachandra this huge skeleton of Dundubi. In fact, it says it's so huge that it looked like a mountain peak. And then then Sugriva took Ramachandra to another place right there and said, do you see this 7 Sala trees? So I did some research. Sala is a particular tree that grows in Southeast Asia. And these trees are hardwood trees. That means they're very, very sturdy trees. The wood is extremely hard. And they're used for furniture and other wood purposes where they need strength. And a Sala tree technically can grow up to 100 feet up. And they have very, very strong nodes by which the leaves hold on to the branches. And he said that you see the 7 Sala trees? Vali was able to hold a tree and shake it and remove all of its leaves. Although he could do this one by one. One by one, he would be able to shake these trees completely. So as far as I'm concerned, Sri Ramachandra, Vali's strength and fame, as I've narrated to you, is unequaled. So I have a doubt, Ramachandra. Is it possible for you to really kill Vali? Is it possible? After I've explained to you, you think about it. Is it possible for you? Now, if anyone speaks to Ramachandra like that, the first person who will respond is Lakshmana, because it irritates him. Anytime anyone diminishes Ramachandra's glory even by a fraction, Lakshmana gets irritated, because that is his love for Ramachandra. So Lakshmana smiled and asked Sugriva, so what should Ramachandra do for you to trust him? What will he have to accomplish for you to have faith in Ramachandra? Tata Bruvanam Sugrivam Prahasan Lakshmano Abravit. Lakshmana smiled. And he said, Kasmin Karmani Nivritte Shraddhaya Valino Vadam. What should Ramachandra, how should he prove to you? Tell me. Then Sugriva told Lakshmana that Vali had split the Sala trees one after the other. Splitting means shaking them and breaking the trunk one by one. So he says, if I can see Ramachandra splitting these Sala trees with one arrow, I will believe that he has the strength to kill Vali. Then he said, Lakshmana, if Ramachandra can also lift the dead buffalo, Dundubi's skeleton, and maybe throw it to a distance of 200 bows. So that's there are measurements. Udyamatha prakshipet chatarasya dve dhanushe. So 12 bow lengths away, if he can lift it and throw it, I would trust Ramachandra. By this time, Ramachandra's eyes turned red. The redness is what? An ordinary monkey like Vali? Sugriva, I have to prove my strength to you? Huh? And Sugriva is saying Vali is so powerful, he never lost any battle with anybody. Even demigods uh, cannot battle with Vali. So please help me. So Ramachandra, uh, it's not that I don't fully trust you. Thing is, Ramachandra, you've come here to Kishkinda to make friendship with me. I've never seen you fight. I've never seen you win a battle. So it's hard for me to fully trust you. So please, Ramachandra, can you please show me your strength? I believe your strength is like fire covered by ash. It's there, but not demonstrable. So Ramachandra smiled gently. He said, Sugriva, if you have no confidence in my strength, what can I do? I will create so much confidence in you that you will become completely wowed by it. Saying this, Ramachandra went up to Dundubi's skeleton, a huge mountain peak. And Sugriva asked, can Ramachandra carry and throw it? Ramachandra did not even carry Dundubi's body. With the big toe of his foot, he flicked that skeleton. Now, anyone try flicking anything with your big toe? It's not that dexterous. So it doesn't move much. But with that little strength, Ramachandra, when he flicked the Dundubi's body, it went and fell 10 yojanas away, 80 miles away. He only asked 12 bow lengths. Ramachandra kicked it 10 yojanas away. Sugriva was shocked in one sense, but as doubtful as Sugriva can be, he said, yeah, Ramachandra, I understand that you flicked it so far, but let me be honest. Vali, who was fighting with Dundubi, actually, if you take Vali's situation, Vali one was tired because he was fighting with his hands, knees, and punching. He was tired. Plus, he was intoxicated because when a person is intoxicated, their strength is sometimes weak. And Dundubi's body was full of flesh. When something is so full of flesh, it is heavier. Skeletons are lighter. So don't equate Vali throwing something one yojana as what you have done is a lot more, because Dundubi's body was very heavy. So for Vali, it was a lot of effort. For you, this is like dry grass, and it doesn't, not much in it. So I'm not able to fully assess your strength because the skeleton is dry. Dundubi's body was full of flesh and meat in it. So I still am doubting your strength. Can you shoot an arrow into this sala tree and show me so I can assess your strength or weakness? And he said, if you pierce this sala tree, my doubt will be completely gone. And please, Ramachandra, understand, this is only to increase my confidence. I'm really not doubting your strength. So then Ramachandra strung an arrow. One second, I'm going to give you the actual situation. So Ramachandra picked up an arrow and released it with such, he pulled it all the way to his ear and he left that arrow. It was a golden arrow, very mighty because it was released by the arms and shoulders of Ramachandra. I mean, it's the bow has strength, but it depends on the archer of how much they can pull it and release the arrow. The arrow, Sugriva asked, can you pierce one solitary? Ramachandra's arrow pierced all the 7 solitaries. And that was not enough. It came out with such velocity and momentum that it shattered the mountain peaks that were there beyond the trees. And after shattering the mountain peaks, it entered the earth. And it went down into the earth all the way to Rasatala, Patala. There were some demons there that also got killed, and the arrow came back quietly into Ramachandra's quiver with such speed and momentum. Sugriva's jaw just dropped to the ground. It was unbelievable attempt of Ramachandra. He became so happy that he immediately fell on the ground and offered Ramachandra obeisances with folded hands. And it is particularly required. It's not just the kind of obeisances. It was full dandavats. Why? Because he says that all of Sugriva's ornaments were touching the ground. So it is called Ashtanga. Sashtanga we say. Then Sugriva stood up, looked at Ramachandra, and he said, oh my God, Ramachandra, you are not only able to kill Vali, but you can kill Indra also in battle. What to speak of Vali? You are so powerful. I mean, who can fight with you, Ramachandra, if you can split the huge 7 sala trees like this? And the mountain all with one single arrow? So a little of physics. I'm not an expert in physics, but when an arrow enters the trunk of a tree, it starts to slow down because of transfer of momentum. It slows down. But Ramachandra's arrow was so fast and strong that it pierced 7 trees and did not slow down. It went into mountain peaks and went into the earth and did not slow down. Very, very amazing strength and prowess. So then he says, please, Ramachandra, I am now confident that you will be able to kill Bali. Then Ramachandra embraced Sugriva and said, Sugriva, get ready. We will go to Kishkinda from here. You go and challenge your brother Vali. Okay. And they all went to Kishkinda. And I'm not going to narrate the rest of the story today. Next time we will talk about what happened and how they fought Sugriva and Vali. But something, as I mentioned last week, if you look at Sugriva's mentality, it is the mentality of a person who is not yet a devotee or who has just begun devotional service. It's called Kanishtha. Nishtha means fixed. Kanishtha means not yet fixed. What is not fixed is the faith in the Lord. And this is why Kanishta's faith can easily be diluted when they face opposition, or someone challenges them scripturally, or someone speaks to them very strongly. I mean, I've done college programs for many years, and young students who take up to Krishna consciousness would be all inspired. They would chant rounds and they would go home to India or their families, wherever, and they would be thrown a barrage of questions and challenges and emotionally, oh, if you do this, I will stop eating. Why are you not eating eggs? That's full of protein, blah, blah. And they would be worn out because faith is Kanishta. So that is for a younger person. But for a Kanishta, sometimes they are unaware of how capable the Supreme Lord is. And they think my difficulties, my problems are so big that I doubt if Ramachandra or Krishna can take away my problems. And Sugriva also felt like that. If Vali is so strong, I doubt if Ramachandra can take away uh, Vali's threat for me. And for such persons, unfortunately, Ramachandra has to prove his ability. We all put Ramachandra to test, or Krishna, we all put them to test. Actually, it's the other way around. The Supreme Lord has to test us to check if we are qualified to accept his bhakti, because that's something he won't give. However, it's sometimes topsy-turvy that we have to test Ramachandra to check, are you worthy of my worship, Ramachandra? Are you worthy enough that I can fall on the ground for you? And the way we text is, we have all these difficulties and we pray, please help me, help me. There are very big difficult situation, please help me. And then Ramachandra has to do something, or the difficulty has to become smaller or go away, and we say, so much confidence I have now, Ramachandra will help me, or Krishna will help me. They came through for me. You don't have to. If you see Prahlad Maharaj, he never waited to see if the Lord did something for him. Of course, none of the things bothered him, but he was constantly tormented. He was just happy remembering the Lord, but never said, do this for me, do that for me. Of course, it's a very, very, very huge task in Krishna consciousness to not ask the Lord anything. So we are told, whatever you want to ask, you ask the Lord, nothing wrong. But the faith to be built strong enough that, my dear Lord, whatever is the difficulty, may my mind only be with you and may I continue serving you, is a very big stage, or a high stage. And that's where we want to get to. And Sugriva is showing by his behavior, Ramachandra is showing through Sugriva, that it takes time to build that kind of implicit faith. And the Lord proves himself to us in different ways. And then Sugriva, this faith is almost implicit. There's one more test when Vali will punch him like anything, and then he doubts, hey, what happened? I thought you will help me. You didn't show up. So from there on, Sugriva becomes a Uttama Bhakta for Ramachandra. So may we also get that grace of Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana. And interestingly, Lakshmana has to ask, what should Ramachandra do to prove? All this time, Lakshmana has not spoken. So this is the intervention by the Guru to say, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. What is it that Ramachandra should do to prove his worthiness to you? So let me see if there are any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance. Thank you so much for the nice class, bro. This is Kirti here.
Yes, I can recognize your voice.
I have many questions, Prabhu, but I guess those are just technical, so I'll wait on them if no one has a question. But the main one was the last thing you were mentioning, that Sugriva, his faith was not mature and he put Ramachandra to test. And I was comparing that to my situation. At least Sugriva is able to appreciate Lord Ramachandra's shelter giving capability or ability after seeing Lord Ramachandra's prowess or strength. In my case, the Lord has done so many things, so many calamities he has averted or taken care of. But yet my faith is, each time a new calamity comes, I'm always doubtful, or that sense of gratitude is not there, a sense of confidence is not there. It's always, but what about this? How do I move from this position to a position where I'm secure no matter what happens?
sense of security is not an intellectual exercise that, oh, I have to be secure tomorrow. So it means that our heart has to open for that faith a bit more. So from where we started to where we are, whatever we have done to get us this far, we just continue doing that and take the association of those who have very, very strong faith in the Lord. Now, association means obviously hearing from them and rendering some service to them. And it's by that faith is then instilled in our heart. So it's not intellectual. We just recognize that, hey, my heart's not fully vibrant with that kind of faith just yet. But I'm moving in that direction, and I continue to move. So it's the process of bhakti through association and service. So there is a sadhana program that prepares the heart. There is service that gives the heart the strength to take and hold it. So continue. I mean, we all started somewhere where in some lifetime we are faithless or atheistic or doubtful, and slowly we made journeys up until this point and continue it from here. But it's not an intellectual thing that suddenly but what's important is this episode in Ramayana, for example, or any other episodes that inspire you. These are something that we hear regularly and let the topic churn. We've heard the phrase that sandalwood, the more you scrub, the more fragrant it gets. Or camphor. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says camphor. So hearing it once is not enough. We hear it again and again and again and massage these topics within our heart. Then they become fragrant. And next time we're in a situation like this, we look at Sugriva and say, wow, Sugriva doubted and Ramachandra showed his prowess. A lot more than what Sugriva had asked. And I need to have a pinch of faith, and what do I need to do to cultivate that faith? And that's the association and service to Vaishnavas. All right, Kirti? Okay, anything else? Okay, seems like nothing else. Kirti, you had something else?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I'm Shweta. Prabhuji, I have one doubt. When the Lord himself comes and people can't see him as a Lord, how can we develop ourselves to see Lord in the normal human beings?
See the Lord in normal human beings. That's very difficult. That's very difficult. Nor is it our necessary meditation. The idea is we see first that there is Atma in every living being. First, that is the step. And then as there is Paramatma in Atma, it should be true that there is Paramatma in every Atma too. But Paramatma realization, not even realization, the recognition takes a little bit more. So we start with that there is Atma, Jiva in every living being. And the covering is whatever is the gross body. I'm not sure if I grasped your question. Ask more, please.
No, I was thinking on the lines that because I have heard few of the stories like for the Panduranga and a few very highly dedicated and always lost in the Lord. I heard one story that he didn't eat for many days, and when his wife left a chapati and go to him, so he was just remembering for the God, and one dog came and took the chapati, and he ran after him, just seeing the God even in him, even in the dog, just seeing the Prabhu, and running after him, shouting, Prabhu, you took only chapati. Please take good also. How will you eat only chapati? Means he was at the level that, I mean, everything was just one thing for him, just Prabhu for him. And we can't see even the normal qualities of people who have the quality, that quality also we are unable to see.
Yeah, I mean, if a 5-year-old asks, how do I become a PhD? How do I get a PhD degree? What do you say?
It will take time.
Start in kindergarten. Start in kindergarten, we say, right?
Yes, right.
From kindergarten, you go through preschool, first few grades, middle school, high school, bachelor's, master's, then PhD, and that also takes a while. So to get there, it has to start somewhere and move progressively. But it's not that one jumps to that stage right away. That's rare. That's called Kripa Siddha. Is very rare. In fact, we should never bank on that necessarily. Our process is, our siddhi or perfection comes through sadhana, practice. So wherever we are, we start that journey. What is that? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. We take the first step, second step, and keep going. Actually, as we move forward in our bhakti, I'm using the word move forward, but literally, as we intend to move forward, we are pulled by the Supreme Lord towards Him. So the time is not necessarily linear like in school. It's linear because you only move to the next grade 1 year after. Next grade is 1 year after. And every grade is very equally set up by years, 1 year intervals. But bhakti can be exponential, up or exponential down. So when we fall, it's not like we are falling linearly. Or when we rise up, it doesn't have to be linearly either. Depends on the intensity of bhakti, and it can be quite exponential. Therefore, you'll see some people start very sinful, start little and zoom. And some people who are very accomplished, some silly mistakes, and they fall really badly. But in all of it is the intention to get there is the most important thing. It will happen. By the grace of Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi, it will happen. But we just need to give it, for most of us, it happens gradually. According to Rupa Goswami, he says, kramena, by step, gradually. Progressively is the right word. Okay, so stay put, hang on, and enjoy the ride.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu. I understand.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Parama
I was
Karuna.
just appreciating this point that the faith is not a function of intellectual capacity or abilities. So, and you use the word kramena. So when we go from ado shraddha tata sadhu sango ata bhajana kriya anartha nivritta syat. So in this, what I understand, intellectual has very less role to play compared to the mercy factor, because we are also being said to read the shastras, and if we use our intellectual capacity to surrender ourselves or have a faith using the shastras, that works less compared to the mercy. Does it make sense? Or
It makes sense. I'd like to modify a little bit that it doesn't mean intelligence has no role to play. Intelligence has a very big role to play. However, that intelligence has to be guided by scripture, to help us discern that, make the right choices of taking shelter. The intelligence drives the heart, or helps the heart to receive mercy. Because intelligence for a conditioned soul actually blocks mercy and only facilitates how to fulfill desires, to listen to the senses better. Does that help?
Yes, yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense. It makes sense. But uh, the, so, but even after sometimes listening to the scriptures or shastras, some people doesn't have faith, and so is it possible the faith is inborn, or could be possible, or we have to have faith directed to a shastra, and how does it work? Because I'm reading scripture from a long time, but I didn't have faith yet, and some people have faith like boom. So
In
is it?
Bhagavad Gita, yeah, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that faith is inherent to all beings, but the faith is oriented according to the modes of nature. That's the 17th chapter. So persons who have great faith, but the faith is influenced by tamoguna, they will put all their heart into some human being or something, some ideology that is not beneficial. Someone else may have great faith, but it is filled with rajoguna. So their faith will manifest differently. In fact, in tamoguna, they will go for bhuta and preta. In rajoguna, perhaps another human being. That's why it's so easy to find cheating human beings and accept them as great persons and treat them like God. Not just treat them like God, but believe that they are God. This is not complete nonsense. So what is important is faith is there. It's like a missile, if you will, that it has great strength, but it doesn't have a guiding system. You drive so much. For you to get from one place to another, not only do you need a good vehicle, but you also need a good map, a guiding system that takes you in a most efficient way. So faith is there, but the modes guide the faith. And therefore Krishna says, the one who lives a sattvic life moves his faith in the sattva guna direction. Only then will the possibilities that, oh, there is something called Atma, there is something, will open up. And therefore, service like distributing books or prasadam or some way engaging someone is a slight entry of divine, I guess, mercy or sattva guna into someone's life. I'm using the word sattva. It also means, it to also mean something divine in relation to Krishna, not just sattva guna. That will guide the faith. Every person has faith. Somehow or the other, there is there. They may not have faith in God, but they have faith in something. They have no faith in, if you don't have any faith, you can't eat food because it has to digest. Oh, I don't know if my body will digest, so I can't eat. Faith is the trust that something beyond me is working. That's there for everyone.
Thank you. So any faith, sattva, raja guna, or tama guna, when implied in Krishna consciousness, you can purify.
Faith in Krishna's service then becomes nourished to become sattva guna, to become more sattvic, I should say. All right, anything else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sorry.
Go ahead.
This is regarding about last class, from last class, Prabhu. So I heard Wali is a very, very pride and arrogant person. That's why Lord Rama kept Wali from so far, and he's staying with Sugriva. So my question is like, suppose in family, some like so arrogant and pride. So what we need to do? It's not like we keep stay far from them. Just after asking this question, I myself find I am very pride and arrogant person. Maybe that is my immature question, Prabhu. Sorry.
No, it's a good question. You asked me last week and I asked you to ask here. So I think the other Vaishnavas can also hear and chime in if they want. But I've been thinking myself that I'm myself far away from Ramachandra because my own heart is filled with pride. I mean, I know some verses and I give class and all that, but actually speaking, Garva Manasa Dura, Ramachandra has not allowed me access yet. So I have to pray every day to Hanumanji to somehow put in a word for me. So first of all, that's the case. But if you look at the rest of the pastime, Ramachandra, stayed away from Vali, but gave Vali mercy by killing him. Now, one may say, how can by killing him? But as the story goes further, when Vali was still alive with the arrow pierced in his chest, Ramachandra is standing in front of him and they have a conversation. And Vali then seeks forgiveness. Please forgive me. I said some things that were wrong. I now accept that whatever you said is 100% true. And you are the king, the supreme. Now, Ramchandra, please pull that arrow off my chest. And Vali is looking at Ramachandra while his last breath goes away. Isn't that amazing? Now, so every living being, we as ambassadors of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, somehow or the other, directly or indirectly, must engage in, I'm using the word must because this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mandate that Rupa Goswami has given us, that we engage in Jiva Daya. So we may not necessarily embrace someone very envious, but we don't hold back best wishes or good wishes even for such persons, as hard as it might be. We don't, as Madhyama Adhikaris function, we don't have to run to the envious. Madhyama Adhikaris make a distinction, that person is envious. But from a distance, give them good wishes. It's important. If Jiva Daya is not there, it makes the heart very, very hard. Jiva Daya is necessary. And for that, Namaruchi, that's some taste for chanting of the holy name, and Vaishnava Seva are extremely necessary. So if someone is there in the family or in our social circle who's proud or arrogant and it's hard, then we may maintain some distance. But here we pray that please let me have some sense of compassion for them. Let me find one good quality in them and appreciate that one good quality from a distance, maybe. Hard as it is. I mean, I know I have some persons that I cannot see the good in them, but it's an exercise every day to try, and I fail every day. But I hope to cross over that.
Thank you.
Okay, 9:40. We'll stop here. If there are more questions, please write them down to bring them up next week when we meet. Next Saturday, April 9th, day before Sri Ramanavami. Thank you very much. And we are very grateful that through Sugriva, Sri Ramachandra is instilling so much confidence in our heart that there may be many, many, many Valis and Vali-like difficulties and obstacles and challenges and even rivals in our life. But if we are under the grace of Lakshman Dev and Hanumanji, then that Supreme Lord will by a flick of his toe, remove the massive Dundubi-like problems, and with the one arrow finish the Vali-like difficulties. Thank you. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. See you next week.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.